So yeah, we were just talking about me and Tyler. We were talking about Christopher Columbus, transgender, sports, and a multitude of different things, man. And I just was like, shit, this is podcast material right here. And I'm over here thinking like, what a world we live in, and what a world we were taught, and how we were taught this is the truth. And then you read more and more, you start to be like, oh, this isn't the truth. This is some bullshit. And then you see what's happening now, like, man, what the fuck? Like, where do you go?
It's a tough question to ask. Like, where exactly do you go from this? Especially when you have information that most people would deem as almost just conspiracy, right? Even though this is the truth, this is what happened, and there's history books and lessons that you can learn that this is the truth, like what he actually did to these people, and to the extremes that it went. And it's like, well, now that you know the information, do you just like help people educate them, or do you just like know it and just don't celebrate them? You know, like what do you actually do next?
Right. I think that's tough. Like, and then my thing is, as a father now, I'm gonna teach my kid, both sides. No, I'm not gonna teach my kid both sides. I'm teach him the truth. Mm-hmm. And if he's young right now, if we decide to put him in public schools or some type of school system, other than homeschool, then certainly they'll teach the bullshit. But I'm gonna teach him the truth, because I think it's important to understand the levels of information, as well as to be aware of the good, bad, and ugly. Because a lot of people, they like to shy away from the ugly of things because they don't like the reality of things. They like to kind of live their own reality, and to be versatile with your thinking, to understand cultures and people and just the dynamics of life. I think it's important to definitely dive into truth, and so you have a better understanding of things around you, man.
Mm-hmm. And a couple of, as I was diving deep into some of this research, it's really interesting when I kind of take a lens and step back, right? These guys that were in that time frame, raging and pillaging and doing all this stuff, they thought that certain way. So there's teachings that they learned that are not necessarily taught in our school systems, which isn't a bad thing. That you wouldn't think radically and strategize to deceive people and do all this stuff, but there are still people out there who think this way.
Right.
And if the majority of people are kind of thinking more soft thoughts, like, oh, this is just the way things are, like very civilized, right? The few radical thinkers can literally change the entire world.
Right, exactly. And you look at history, how those radical thinkers have shaped our story. In a sense, it's given us a false pretense of what really is. You know what I mean? And like I guess growing up for me, I always thought it was like kumbaya and like, oh, the president, we can elect the president, and we're not corrupt. But I didn't understand the whole dynamic of corruption anyway. But now that I got older and read more, I was like, fuck, this world is corrupt, and it's not just the U.S. Like I said, it's the world that's corrupt. I think the U.S. paints a great picture of it being the most. I guess you could say freedom or freest, I would say. And I don't want to say the most trust, because America doesn't paint itself as a trustworthy country. It's more or less like, hey, it's freedom. You get to achieve what you want to achieve. The American dream, which I solely believe in that. But at the same time, I'm just like, we're corrupt as fuck.
Right.
Along with other countries of the planet. But I'm like, whoa, we are on another level at times. And I think the biggest problem is we like to play superhero and like we're really out there to save people. But it's like reality, like we're looking out for ourselves.
Right. And it almost taking that and this, talking about the current day, we got the war in Ukraine and Russia and everything, not trying to defend any side, but we don't know both sides.
Exactly.
We're only told one part of the narrative as well.
Propaganda.
And we're also shown, we're shown and told, he's bombing these hospitals and children and stuff, but what took him to get to this point as well? Like, how did all this happen? How did we get here?
Uncomfortable conversations. I think a lot of us, we avoid that because we don't want to, once again, dilute our perception of reality. We're scared. And it's like, I think we got to ask those questions. I think it's important. If someone proposed that question to me, I certainly wouldn't lambast them for asking me that. But a lot of people are automatically just vitriol because they feel a certain way or they want to ask questions. And it's like, we need to ask these questions. Start by asking these questions, and then that way we can propose solutions, or we could be, I think it's just good to be a versatile thinker. And I think that's important. We don't know the side of Russia. we just told the side, hey, Russia's attacking Ukraine. Poor little Ukraine. Can we help them? We don't know. All I know is I know NATO's across the world. I mean, that certainly would kind of piss me off if somebody's knocking on my step and like, hey, we're here. And it's like, everything isn't even Gucci right now with us, but it's like, you guys are right there in my doorstep. So that would piss me off a little bit. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories going around, man.
Yeah.
One is that, like, Russia, that's Russia's territory. It was originally Russia's territory, and now they're coming back to get their territory. You know, they're showing, I've seen this one, I think it's like they show, like, the dead bodies or something. There's a bunch of dead bodies,
Damn.
but then, like, one person gets up. He's, like, trying to, like, the wind's blowing his, like, I don't know, body bag off of him, so he pulls it up, and it's caught on camera and shit, and it's like, what is this that they're showing us, man? You know?
Oh, man.
See, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
is this really what's going on, or is just what media is putting on TV and people are buying into it? There's people who are just, like, conversation obsessed about Russia's this, they're arguing with each other. Russia's doing this, no, Russia's not doing that, and then it's like, you got to see the bigger picture of, like, is this even real, man?
And that's another thing.
And then I'll come in and start arguing with them, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" You know?
But I think if we could get to that point, which I don't really see in my lifetime, of us just having conversations like we are now, right? Casual conversation, and whether we agree or not with our you know, with each other's sentiments, the point is we understand. You know, and I think we're just trying to reach a common ground,
right?
And there's more and more every day that makes fake information like almost easier to spread. I recently was watching some TikTok videos and came across a software that you can get where you can basically like have a video that you've recorded, put it in this software and it will transcribe your video. But also what you can do is you can type in extra words and it will analyze what you said and make it where it sounds like you said those words.
Damn.
Adding it into your script.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
makes it look like it?
It sound like it.
Make it sound like it.
Like you said something.
Podcast, like edit your podcast and basically cut a section, cut out words, and then add words in or whatever you want to do. And it's, you know, there's a slight difference in like the tone.
Sounds like a Siri.
Yeah, like a little bit. Like, but you can tell like this could be developed and tweaked to be very dangerous.
Takes your voice, kind of mimics it, spits out words.
It makes me wonder about the news anchors we watch on TV. Like, how much of it really is what they say versus what a bot is saying, I would say. I was just talking to someone about that. Oh, yeah, I think I heard on the radio or something, or on a YouTube video, how they're not even, YouTube video. They're not even, like, news journalists or anything. They're just paid actors. And I'm like, I could see that, because it's just like, you gotta...
News reporters.
Yeah, it's just like, are you really...
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. I've been seeing something like...
Yeah.
News anchors, it's like they're kind of like celebrities.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Local celebrities.
Exactly.
You see on TV all the time.
So it's just like, you got to ask that question. Once again, like you said that question, what's really real? What's really going on? It's just, that's why it's so easy to focus on your purpose, focus on your shit, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I think it's important to also be aware, because I mean, you can focus on your purpose so much, but tomorrow might be, oh shit, the nuke is coming. And I'm still focused on my purpose. I'm like, damn, the nuke is right here.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So my purpose is done.
Yeah.
Might as well keep on getting exactly. Might as well create this video.
Release this video. Like,
aliens find it thousands of years later. Like, whoa, damn. This internet is, this guy's on there.
So yeah, it's just it's yeah, man. It's definitely something to ask, but it always intrigued me a lot just to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, man. I remember my uncle, man, my older brother. He always taught me, he said, question everything. Man, yeah. Question everything. And then that was just like in social situations, like, is this guy doing that? Are they lying? He'd be like, question everyone, question everything, man. But that kind of stuck with me, and I brought it to a bigger context, like, question everything, man.
Man, it's so true.
Gas is going up. Why? Is it manipulation, or is it the wars trying to make money? You never know.
I think my problem is, too, people try to rationalize this too much, where it's like they automatically dismiss conspiracy theories. I think conspiracy theories are great because it kind of promotes, it promotes critical thinking. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, don't get so emotionally involved into something. Understand, read it objectively, but all right, I can see that, and then do your research and deduct from there. But I think a lot of people just dismiss shit. They be like, "Oh, the gas prices are rising because of war." I'm like, we don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
What's also interesting about the conspiracy theory thing is like at this point with these last couple of years that we just faced, it's like it's almost the word conspiracy theory is almost like spoiler alert because like this is like stuff that's gonna happen almost. And then you start to hear the story, then you see it, and you're like, oh.
Like, exactly.
Is it really a conspiracy or is this outside right now?
Yeah. I always read a quote like conspiracy theories is just a derogatory term to dismiss a critical thinker.
Yeah, they came up with, I think it was like called conspiracy theory or something.
Yeah.
Theory is kind of like, or something, Like,
I know what you mean.
It was something else. It wasn't theory. It was like thesis or something. I don't know. But they changed it to like theory. So it's like, oh, that's not real.
Exactly.
That's the way we can kind of like deflate it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I remember it wasn't always like that. And then it just became, now it's more like promoted in the sense of like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like they dismiss people automatically.
Yeah, it's like, I think they play with language so much because people are very subconscious. They're not even paying attention to the words they say or what they really mean. And then they'll hear certain things and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. They dismiss it because like, the rhetoric that we use, you're so desensitized now.
Man,
and that's the key. Like, get people desensitized to an idea. They'll hear the right things at the wrong time because now they're desensitized, and then it just passes them by, and they missed out on whatever opportunity or whatever's happening for real to them.
Exactly. Once again, they're just afraid to dilute that perception that they have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people they're comfortable with living their day-to-day lives without questioning things, and I think that's where the problem. That's where we see a lot of the issues now. No one's questioning anything. But certainly I don't want to say no one is because I think we have a lot more of that. I think that's why they make such a big effort to try to like stifle people from saying things because it's just like with the whole Joe Rogan thing. Oh, we gotta do something to tarnish his image because I don't like how he's questioning our narrative on something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my biggest like. That's why I'm like, when they start to do those things, I start to question, like, what exactly are you trying to prevent, or what exactly are you trying to conduct? You know what I mean?
The Great Awakening.
Yeah, and that's you can't stop it though, because that's where I think we're at. We're at that point where consciousness is rising. And it has risen. I used to think like I don't know if it's rising like that, but I think it is rising.
Especially
after
now,
exactly.
2020. And it's going crazy. You'll see it like on TikTok. TikTok's a crazy place, man. There's people, spirituality, and they're getting into it, man.
And I think that's exactly. You can't stop that. And I think that's what they know they're up against. So now they're trying to do every protracted effort to be like, no, we got to prevent this. But it's like now is the time to really, man, dive deep and be like, all right, question all of this shit. Go against the grain. I think that's why you have a lot of entrepreneurs now because people are just like, I'm tired of the bullshit.
Tired of this 9 to 5.
Tired of it, man.
9 to 5, 65, retire, die.
Die, yeah, that's what you die.
2 years later.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, too, I think I was just reading the book Creature from Jekyll Island last night, and that book's made me question so many things. It's ridiculous. I'd highly recommend you guys check it out. But economics and inflation and how money works and all that kind of stuff. What's interesting to know, the history behind all of it, is there's basically private interest who understood how money worked. They basically ran the whole money monopoly thing. They knew that they needed to influence people to think that the Federal Reserve was actually federal, not a private interest event or not event, but a private interest entity. And they also had a ton of money. So what they did, they went to schools like Harvard and Yale, and they started to put tons of money in towards courses teaching economics, which they
first business model.
Exactly. So they are teaching you what they want you to think about economics and about money and about how it works. So then that way they, who truly control it, they know what information's out there. They know how people are going to start to think, and then that ends up being the spread information, whereas the truth is hidden behind the veil. And so it's just like, when you really think about like how all this stuff works, someone taught it to someone else, and then they taught it to someone else and so on. And then because it's a prestige place like Yale or Harvard, that's my proof that this is facts, and it backs up the truth, quote unquote. And now you don't want to question it because it came from a trusted source like Yale or Harvard.
Where's this book called?
That's
The
deep.
Creature from Jekyll Island.
That's deep.
I know, right? So they were just pouring tons and tons of money into these courses. And again, if you were a professor who was teaching certain courses back then, you would also get like accolades because, oh, wow, he's a prestigious professor who's teaching economics at Harvard or Yale. But really, you're teaching the lies that they wanted you to teach.
Right. Teaching you the wrong history. Teaching you the world that they want you to create. Continue to create. And it all revolves around money.
Man,
Money and power and control.
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here in awe just because I'm like, damn. It makes sense. Like, use these prestigious universities, quote unquote, to corroborate the information that you're being that you're bestowing to people, and then people aren't going to question it because this is from this source. And that's where I always find that I always question that shit. Where people be like, "Well, quote your sources." Well, that's not a quotable source. I'm like, dude, like
it's a source. Right?
It's a source. It's whether you believe it or not, it's a source information. It should promote something in your brain and be like, all right, let me question it. Let me look deeper into it. Instead of just dismissing it like, oh, that's some bullshit. Like, nah, just read about it. I find myself now, though, I ain't gonna lie, I do dismiss sometimes like New York Post, a lot of these major ones. I'm like, that's some bullshit.
New York Post.
I just
a news source.
Yeah, like New York Post, like some of these quote unquote that's prestigious. I dismiss them a lot because I feel like it's propaganda, man.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, it's more to it. Like when they say like the Ukraine situation, I'm like, it's more to it than that.
It's all just hype.
It's hype.
They're making money to print the magazines.
Right. To give you some information that's like, oh, we get clickbait. We got them to click. How many clicks did we get in the last hour? Okay, 100,000? All right, we get funding for this. Like, it's just, come on, man. Like, that's why I question a lot of the stuff. That's why I like to listen to independent news outlets. Like, hear them out. I'm like, all right, cool.
Truth is free, man.
It should be. It should be. And we have access to it in the U.S. We can go anywhere on the internet and just figure out what's what.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Or what we think.
Yeah, I want to say what we think. What we think. That's key.
Search it up on DuckDuckGo. It might give you something different. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But before we proceed, man, let's go ahead and pour up this. Well, we already poured it up.
We gotta get Tyler a cup.
I don't know. Ramadan.
Yeah, actually, I want to.
Really?
Yeah. Tyler's doing Ramadan.
Okay. Yep. Nice.
For those who don't know, Ramadan started today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Today was the first day. Now from sun up to sundown, no consumption of anything, water, food, anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
High five, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
I will just blink that out though. Oh, it's all good, man. We'll blink it out. I'll blink that out.
Nah, it's good.
It's all good.
How was your first day, man?
So started off a little rough because I went to bed pretty late and I was expecting to wake up, like at 5, but I didn't. So I missed like my eating window this morning.
Damn.
So that's what I was gonna ask you about. The eating window. You already missed it, then, huh?
Yeah, I missed it this morning. So right now I'm just kind of like trying to stay like consciously doing things.
Exactly, that's the key.
Busy.
Yeah.
Stay busy.
Yep.
Stay busy, and then you won't think about your food.
Exactly.
Or how much pain you're in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to people who, of course, use this month, these 30 days, just a day of reflect or a month of reflection, spiritually connected to your source, which you call. Take this moment and just say, hey, shout out to you guys. Stay focused and stay grounded. Yeah, Ramadan's no joke. I think my biggest gripe with it is just the lack of water I have during the day.
It's a dry fast. It's a dry fast and a food fast.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't drink any water.
Nothing at all. You can't even chew on gum or something.
Nothing.
Like that. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yep.
I'm chewing gum right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's deep, man.
It's very. My girl told me about it, like I said, on like Tuesday, I think, and I was like, I probably will do it, and then I was like, I don't know, I think I'm gonna wait. Like I said, I'll wait till next year because I always think it's in June for some reason. I don't know why I think it's always in June because I remember a Minnesota Vikings football player, he was doing it, and it was talking about how hot it was, and I'm like, I could have sworn I thought it was like June because I'm like, it's not hot here.
Yeah.
And this is in Minnesota. And so I always forget that, damn, it's this early? So I would definitely make an attempt next year. I'm not going to do it. I tried it last year. I think I did 10 days. Yeah. And I had to stop because working out, YouTube, all this other stuff. But yeah, hey, shout out to you, bro.
Hey, appreciate
Get
that.
it, man. Get it.
Shout out to everyone else, too.
A warrior.
Yeah.
All y'all.
Yeah.
Warriors. Warriors of God.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said earlier in the podcast too, you know, we're talking about Christopher Columbus, which we didn't really touch in too much because I definitely want to save that one. Because that's a whole nother thing too. We might touch bases with that with the time that we have, but even talking about like the hot thing now is the transgender. Look, man, I'm gonna say this real quick. All right, I'm not by any means I would just say a disrespectful or rude person. I like to acknowledge all expressions of life, but I'm gonna just say this real quick, man. What that guy or that transgender, whatever the fuck they want to say, what that person did, in my opinion, is just outright wrong. For me, I don't have a daughter, I have a son, so I can't really speak on fathers who have daughters. But if I had a daughter, I certainly would be pissed the fuck off because whether you want to say, hey, they got treated for this, so they're no longer producing testosterone, it plays no role. It plays a fucking role. This man, at the time, developed, hit puberty, had all the testosterone. He has the wide shoulders. He has all of this stuff. You mean tell me he doesn't have an advantage? I don't care if he got 4th, 5th place. My point is
100% unfair advantage.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just, at this point, you got to think logically. And I see people in the comments saying they're defending this guy. Women are. Really? I'm like,
for me, like,
really?
Yes.
What I'd almost say is just like, since we've had for this long, the two different sides. You have the men's teams, the women's teams. What if you just made a transgender team? Like transgender competitions amongst themselves, right? So that way it's, again, if you want to compete, you can compete against people who are like you.
That makes more sense.
It does. Yeah. It does.
You want to go against...
Who's going to watch it, though? Funding. That's because I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it to my cousin who works in the local politics. Well, she works for the bank. And she's a very, I would say, educated, intellectual individual. And I just said, what about funding? But she said maybe they could get funding because it's such a big community that they could get the funding. And I think they can. I think they need to have their own. And like I said, I don't mean to be disrespectful if I come off as that way. But once again, I just don't think he has no place or she has no place in women's sports.
Yeah, it's just in general, we can talk about fairness and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, a person who had been born with a genetic position, let's say, like you said, develops bigger shoulders, maybe stronger legs, stronger muscles in general, and then decides to switch over. For the people who were not capable to do those things in the past, and again, that's an argument that women say they have to do against men, is like trying to compete physically against a man is tough.
Cannot be done.
Yeah. So
exactly,
it's already
it can't.
Tough.
Right.
So it's like, yes, I understand you want the fairness of being able to compete, but also compete with people who have the same, like, overall, I guess, position as you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only right. You know what I mean? And I think I just think it's messed up. I don't know how you even can have the mindset of like, hey, instead of competing with my counterparts, let me go ahead and go in the women's division. I don't see how that even came about. I don't see how even the committee talked and said, hey, let this happen. Like, no. That's at the end of the day, yes, he's a transgender, individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
A man turning into a female. You still have, like, you were developed into a male. I just don't see how people don't even understand that. And like I said, I'll read the comments. I'll see women defending this. And of course, I click on her profile. It's, the rainbow. They celebrate the community. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, it's like I'm not against any of the
right,
people who
exactly.
change, but it's just like you have to think at the end of the day, who's really getting shafted? It's like realistically, like, it's the people who have the disposition of being either weaker or like just don't have the benefit of the born this that.
You're born a woman,
right?
So you're you're gonna produce less muscle mass. You're not gonna be as strong. These are just facts, man. You know.
And there's nothing wrong with it because we each play.
Women and men are different.
We are. Women do things, but like my girlfriend does things better than me. Mm-hmm. I do things better than her. I'm not here to say I'm better than you.
Right.
We're not. She doesn't say I'm better than you. We come together and be like, all right, we each play our role. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I think it's messed up. I feel bad for women's sports, the direction that they're going. I feel bad for fathers who are men who are fathers of daughters that might experience this.
Mm-hmm. Like, just imagine, like, for people that probably can't fathom, how are they even saying this stuff? Like, imagine if you do have a daughter and you have to tell her someday that it's okay that she lost to the guy who's racing her or
exactly.
Her. Like, or I guess you wouldn't say it's a guy, you'd say their proper pronoun, but it's okay that you lost to this person who had this genetic benefit over you.
It's not fair, man. Just my heart. I text my boy. I text him when this happened. And, of course, he gave me his stance on it, and I knew he would have that stance. I was like, I already knew what he was going to say. And it's just like, he has a daughter. I just couldn't imagine having a daughter and just thinking, like, damn, if my daughter plays sports, she has to possibly do this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, it's not fair, man. And I can easily, I don't, like I said, once again, I'm going to say this again. If we have any listeners out there that, have went through a transformation or they want to really vouch for the community, we're not being disrespectful by any means.
Not at all.
And if it comes off that way, then you got to ask yourself, are you really the problem at this point? Because if we can have a civil conversation, not be disrespectful, and just be like, look, propose a solution, maybe have your own division, I think that's the best solution to have. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if people really would tune in. But my problem is even like, if this can even get into like a striking sport, imagine a man becoming turning into a woman, mm-hmm. and then being like,
fight UFC.
Yeah, I think I've heard that it's happened. Like, and I've seen a guy try to defend this, and I'm over here like, how can you defend this? It's still, the proper pronoun. I don't even want to take it there, but I'm just saying like,
it's a coward's play, man.
Honestly,
this guy who went in there, he wanted to win this medal. And then it ties into the whole, we don't know if he's really done the surgery or whatever, Either way, though, it's just a coward's play, man. He knows he's going to swim faster than all these females, man.
Come on. I don't care if
he has a better chance of winning the gold medal.
Right. And it's like, I don't care if you got, people say, oh, he got whatever place. I don't care if you got 5th place. Mm-hmm. You got 5th place in a woman that's been training their entire lives, and you've been training your entire life too, but you're making this transition and you still made it in the top 10. You don't think that's fair? Or you think that's really fair? Like, that's bullshit, man.
Like, it's just I don't know. I don't know how to even.
I think I was even watching, kind of looked into that post or something I seen about it, and then he was like, in the men's division, like he kind of sucked. He was average swimmer, but then when he goes to the women's.
Yep. Yeah. And it's like you ain't look into it too much, but I saw that. Yeah. I'm just like average, but then you're the best. I just don't know how you would think that's even okay. I would love.
It's not a win for you, man.
It's not.
It's not a win.
It really isn't. So that really pissed me off, man. Big time. That pissed me off, especially for men who are fathers. That have daughters.
Imagine back in the day, you got you're watching women's basketball, and then Shaq's on the field.
Right. Yeah, let that happen. Let Shaq. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like.
I think there was even a movie like that, wasn't there?
Yeah. I saw Joanna Man.
He goes to play. He's like an average basketball player.
Yep. And then he goes to women, and he just
dominates, can dunk.
Yeah, all of this stuff. And it's like, that movie was Joanna Man.
Cheated, man.
And
at the end, lost everything.
I
don't even think he got the girl at the end.
I don't think he did. Yeah, I don't think he did. Because once they found out, like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not fair. And if you think it's fair, you got to really question yourself.
Question everything.
Yeah, exactly. Do some reflection, because that's some bullshit.
Do the Ramadan fast.
Get some kind of... Get back grounded. Ask yourself.
Fast your mind from societal thinking and just sit on this concept for a while.
Right. I think once you, like I said, if you have a kid, especially a daughter, I just think it changes things for you. You start to really think a certain way. Because when I have my son, I'd be like, you'd be all right, man. Like if you like kind of hit your head, but if you got a daughter, just like you want to protect your babies anyway. But the thing is, like your daughter could eventually go against this. Man, is it even like sometimes I'm sure people take it to the extreme. Like, isn't even point in me training. I'm probably going against a man anyway or transgender. I know.
Right. Yeah. Then they might just
deter their whole path. Just I'm gonna stop doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing because I can't win.
You can't. Yeah, it's too hard. There's guys.
Yeah, it's just man. Come on. Then they got the cancel culture behind it. You can't say this. You can't do shit.
Then after that, it's like, why have the division between men and women anyway? Just do it all together.
Do it all together. At this point, just do it all together.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
like it's just it's not fair, man. It's really not fair, and I feel bad. I really do. But yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Just the transgender thing. All of this stuff, man. Well, we do know COVID is gone, so we know
that. Now, officially, since the war is here, COVID is over.
COVID is over, so yeah.
It might make a comeback.
Yeah, exactly. It might.
Still they did not end the pandemic.
Right. It really, officially, I don't think they ended it. So we still might be, I think we still might be in it. But, we don't talk about it as more because, the war started, so now COVID, I guess it was afraid of the war, too.
Everyone's healed.
Yeah, COVID went to hide.
Yeah.
The vaccine can't protect me from war.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's healed. The only people getting COVID are the people dying in the war.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I got shot. Oh, that was COVID.
That was an injection, not a shot.
Yeah. And it's like, we laugh at this because if you always go by what they tell you on the TV, you're gonna be lost. You won't even be free. You won't be have the freedom to really think. You always be scared as shit.
That's one thing that I've seen on a podcast that I was listening to. We're basically like tripods. There's 3 aspects to your life that make up a person that can do things in their life, right? There's the physical aspect, like what you eat and all that kind of stuff. There's the mental aspect, what you're consuming mentally, and then there's the spiritual aspect. If you attack any of these 3, the whole thing fails, right? So you can eat junky food, cloud your mind. Now that your mind's clouded, you're not thinking right. You're just going to consume whatever media they give you. And now if you're doing that, you're not connecting to your source or spirit or whatever, and therefore you're not going to just be like a human and just use discernment through your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're just basically relying on whatever they feed you, either mentally or physically.
Exactly. And that's how you destroy a tripod at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, they're attacking us on all cylinders. So it's like do or die at times for me, man. Shit.
Yeah, I think I heard that too, man. It'd be like, if you wanted to torture someone, make them live a horrible life, what would you do to them? You could feed them horrible food that sickens them and makes them weak. You could, I don't know, make them consume some type of brainwash them.
BT.
Hey, yeah, it's all programming, man.
Yeah.
Everything's programming. It's like you're always being programmed, but it's like, what are you gonna program yourself to? You're gonna program yourself to the world and the world around you, or you're gonna program yourself to how you want to be and who you want to be and how you want to think.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's essentially what's happening, man. It's just they're torturing these people, man. Torturing the people all over the world, man.
It really is.
Powers that be, keeping the people weak, keeping them sick, keeping them not thinking for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you rule over a world. That's essentially how you do it.
Don't do that, man.
Exactly.
Think for yourself. I was very grateful. In my earlier life, I had a lot of experiences that kind of opened up my eyes and just made me think differently, I remember I had one of my history teachers, Mr. Phillips. Shout out to Mr. Phillips. He's still doing his thing, man. But he was teaching us about conspiracy. He's a history teacher. He teaches about conspiracy theories and JFK. Did he get shot by the government? Type stuff. And it's just yeah. At that point, I remember he probably did happen, man. Mr. Phillips probably knows the truth, man. He probably does.
Yeah.
Question everything.
He probably
did. It was just an option. I can't really say go all in on the conspiracy theories and just believe whatever is on the surface level and on the news. Just look at both of it and then decide from there. At least I've seen this side, I've seen this side. I can go where I want to go.
Exactly. So yeah, guys. Well, hey, we said a lot today in the podcast, and we talked a lot about different things. And I certainly want to take today's podcast and connect it to our next one, because I want to talk more about Christopher Columbus. So keep that same perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the stuff he was telling me, we've seen on his snap too.
A little bit.
Yeah. It was really interesting.
He's bad. Christopher Columbus was a dumbass.
Yeah, dumb motherfucker. I'm glad that motherfucker's dead. Like flat out.
And it's crazy. They teach you these things in like history. What I learned about Christopher Columbus, he's a great guy. He started found the world, found the free world, whatever it was. You know, it's horrible, man. It's not what it seems to be, man.
A piece of shit.
We even celebrate. We have a holiday, isn't it?
Right.
Columbus
46 states still acknowledge that shit.
Right.
Yeah. This is quoted from what Tyler was telling me earlier.
Just more propaganda, man. Celebrate this guy's holiday, yeah.
And then some, streets named after him, statues
all over the world or country.
Yeah.
Right.
For what?
But yeah, guys. So definitely dive in with us. Sip this tea up for the next podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it as usual. But yeah, take away something from this. Make sure to also check out our social media links. That's going to be in the description below. Check us out on IG, Facebook, YouTube, all of that stuff. But until then, guys, it's your boy Spence Crosby, a.k.a. Faiska.
Professor IllWill, CEO of New Wave Coaching, signing out.
And Tyler Wellness here, helping open-minded individuals turn their talent and skills into income.
Peace and love, guys, and ashe.